I just love the way your church has embraced me. Seriously, thank you so much. My name is Enedina Vasquez, and my ministry is called Pláticas de Santa Sofía. It has two names because while we began as Pláticas, we have grown into two groups of prayerful women. One group is based at Grace Lutheran Church, and the other at Lutheran Church of the Good Shepherd, both ministries in San Antonio, Texas. While at seminary here in Austin, I began to plan my ministry because I wanted to use art as part of prayer. I had always felt that art as a form of prayer because it is created while you are alone and your work and you're expressing what is in your heart and your mind. Artists and musicians work with their hands and produce beautiful visions and sounds. Art facilitates communication with God. While working with our hands, we release our innermost thoughts, angers, fears, hopes, dreams, and this allows us to enter into communion with God. When I graduated from seminary, I was looking into starting a prayer group, which I was going to call the Prayerful Arts, and bring women together to share stories, create art, and help them understand how prayer and creativity work together. But God had a different idea for my ministry. I've always been involved in the life of my city and its residents, especially women and women's issues. So when I received a call from a friend of mine wanting to get together to work towards starting a new ministry, I was sure that God was going to lead me into a new path. Sister Norma Gutierrez and I began Pláticas in the late spring of 2013. She and I had been friends for so many years, and we always were working to improve the lives of women by helping start or support many of the service agencies for women. We met several times over the phone or at coffee shops and began to know where God was leading us. Sister and I were concerned about the number of women that we knew personally that did not attend church. I remember us looking at each other and saying, "That's what's the matter with the world today." So we felt that we must reach out to those women and bring them back into a relationship with Christ. We created Pláticas as an ecumenical group with a call to women to come together to share stories about their reasons for not going to church. We wanted to change things for the women by releasing them from the guilt of having left their church. We wanted to find new ways of making them feel loved by God and not feel guilty anymore. We wanted to help them to begin to feel good about themselves and to realize that God had not abandoned them. We discovered most of the women that came to our group were Latinas who had left the Roman Catholic Church for many reasons, such as alienation due to divorce or children out of wedlock, and because they had children who were gay. We also welcomed women who did attend church and who prayed every day because we wanted them to come and help us make the women feel the presence of God at our gatherings. Our gatherings are planned to begin with prayer. We have supper and then we have a prayer service. We have a talk and a presentation, and we present the women with a topic of conversation such as, who taught you to pray? Or how do you show kindness to others? And then we receive instructions on an art project that we are going to work on. The art project begins and becomes the prayer for the day. It is a tangible experience that they take home, hang on their walls, and show to people and tell them about Pláticas and about what they learned about Christ. We began with 6 women when we started. We shared and read scripture, began to tell the women that Jesus had not abandoned them and that they were valued by Christ. As we gathered once a month and our numbers began to grow, Sister became ill and passed away. The convent was sold, and we were homeless, and then we moved into St. Paul's Church. We are a group of women who are hungry for Christ and who feel that we did not fit into the church setting, and we had to leave the church. We married, raised unchurched children, and are now worried that our grandchildren and great-grandchildren are unbaptized. Pláticas is a ministry that has been growing, but I was feeling overwhelmed to continue as the numbers were growing and I was not being supported. In 2014, I was in Denver when I was pleading for help, and it was then that the Lutheran Church stepped up and said, "We will help you." I received many calls from churches all over the country because they are having trouble getting their members to relate to each other, or are having trouble getting diverse groups within their communities to find common ground, and because they need my help to teach them how to pray together. And I use art to do that. I have been an artist all of my life, and through art, I survived an impoverished and difficult childhood. God gave me the grace early in life to use art as a form of prayer, as a window to allow myself the quiet time to use my hands to create and listen to what my heart is telling me, what God is telling me. Pláticas also uses art to talk to God. In my pláticas all over this country, I teach people to come together, to listen to each other, to lose themselves in the movement of their hands so that they can come together as one body. I encourage you to come together with your community, to create art and move your hands with the sound of your heart. Allow yourselves to become a community that gathers and celebrates God through the works of the hands, the hearts, and silent communion with each other and with God. Today I am pleased to say that Pláticas is all over the place in Facebook, in the community, because people are talking about, "Oh, what are you doing in Pláticas?" Today also I am pleased to say that men have joined our group, and that children are coming, and the children are the grandchildren of the women that are saying, "They're not baptized, but can you baptize them?" We're going to baptize all of them. Thank you.